see Vladimir dive, will use Devour. The problem is, every time G2 has drafted a reactionary composition where they have all the answers, they have fumbled in the early game, and then they just got ran over.
Yeah, you have to survive early game in order to be able to react later game and have your team come together. But on the side of G2, it does feel like the Flash comp will be relatively difficult to execute. No traditional frontline tank. A lot of fairly squishy, high-damage champions, especially as the early mid-game rolls out.
I definitely agree it is hard to execute, but if you get ahead, I think this comp is incredibly snowbally. If you have a strong tank who can step up and tank that Kled charge, great. But if you're behind, that tank just gets evaporated right off the bat, and the fight is essentially over. So, we need to see a strong early game from G2.
We need to see a strong early game. It hasn't happened in 5 games yet. Maybe in the 6 is the charm. It's G2 Esports taking on Flash Wolves. This is the first game in second round robin. Every team has faced everybody. G2 at 5-0, and you can see SKT at 5-0. G2 and Flash Wolves now 2 wins, 3 losses. Every win counts because everyone is tied.
You may beat G2 in the early game 5 games in a row, Trevor, but nobody beats them in the early game 6 games in a row. This is their time to shine. They have the signature Graves, Perks on Oriana's, Venomity. I'm definitely looking forward to the lane phase.
Yeah, signature Graves, Trick, he's given up first blood in 3 of his 5 previous games. He actually donated first blood thanks to taking a realm warp the last time they played Flash Wolves. So my eyes are on him and his impact, whether positive or negative for the European LCS.
I'm also really interested to see how well they adapt going into second round. Krepo talked a lot about how G2's strength is adaptation. They learned from the games they played. They're a very intelligent team, and now they have played everyone once. They have a fresh slate. Let's see what they can do.
Yeah, that is domestically when they have weeks and weeks where they first script these partners. They then analyze them and then bring the answers on the Rift, why they were so far ahead in Europe. A couple things I wanted to back this game. Is MMD going to have like an early brush camp as expect? No, he's already in the lane. I want to follow what Myth will be skilling into the Zyra matchup. And more importantly, how much CS Sven can get under pressure, because drafting, which is nice for late game, but it comes at a great cost early on.
Cost early on. G2, that's their problem. It's a Ting Lash for Mythy right now. We'll see where the level 2 goes and what impact that has. Sword on a good job of spreading the seeds and a little bit of assistance for Casa, the Brambleback.
Yeah, the tongue line makes Tom can at least have some range presence. You just want to walk up. They're actually happy with what's happening here. Sword Art spawning plants early, force the push. Now, if Mythic draw an auto attack or 2, the minions will attack whoever's aggressing on him, and that will make the wave pushed. So essentially, that's what you're doing. They're technically Flash here are over pushing. That could punish the jungle. It doesn't look like Karsa's making use of that.
Yeah, and I think Flash Wolves really are just trying to shove it in as fast as possible to start harassing the Twitch under the turret. If you can start working away at these guys, it can work pretty well. And something I do like to see in Tom Kench lanes is a focus on the support. More often than not, that's the better target.
Yeah, you need to burn through these potions. The problem is if you play heavy tower push against the Tom Kench, it's quite risky because if he flash autos you with you, he will devour you and spit you into the turret, and then suddenly the jungle's there.
Where would Casa go? If looking at these lanes, it feels like MMD should be able to push into expect early on relatively well. Maybe will be pushed potentially by Perks, and Trick is setting up on the pushing lane down bottom. The tongue lash goes wide though. Betty's able to sidestep. Summoner heals already used. Flashes thrown down, exhaust traded as well. Get the gobble if you can. Modi, that's 1. That's not enough for a kill just yet. Spits out Sword off for first blood to G2.
And this is entirely pre-planned because Rick went Raptors with Scuttle Crab and he was level 3, so he either found the ward early on or he was running that one experienced Quint. So G2 drafting these combat-heavy bot lanes that obviously play very weak into range push, but if you let them push, your jungler shows up. This isn't a fan in the early game for G2 Esports.
Yeah, your all-in is incredibly powerful, and having the Graves level 3 this early, Mythy and Sven are able to go full aggression, move in, and pick up pretty easy first blood, plus force all the summoners, which that's more threat of a return game.
Oh, I'm looking forward to those summoners being on what that means, because both duo lanes, all 4 summons are blown. Trick gets the assist, and the kill secure was picked up by Mythy. Take a quick glimpse of Maple be shoved in. No surprises on this Vladimir. He's going to be sitting under his turret for a long time, Azael.
Yeah, and I mean, he's pretty happy as long as he's not being bullied by his Oriana. He can scale up. You really do need to get some levels on the Vladimir to start going.
Yeah, I just checked. Trick did not kill Ward early on. See, he must be running that experience win. So definitely predetermined right here. And this is great to make that continuous death by 1,000. Cut in the bot lane. Poke lanes win by keeping you in lane, removing your potion. Getting that free base will be so much.
And this is one of those adaptations we've talked about, something that is pre-planned. And sometimes pre-planned paths clever routes like this can be what breaks the funk of that early game.
That's definitely to help out. Look at this, MD, there's no scar yet. Follow that rage. Pocket pistol comes backwards and Trick gets a kill.
I was actually really scared that the smoke screen was going to trigger Skarl. Every damage instance gives you something, so you want to hit him with like big spells. Small hits over time get you faster to Skarl, I believe. So quite dangerous, but really good stuff. Trick is back in his element.
I don't believe my eyes. This is a pre-level 6 Graves with 2 successful ganks in the 2 lanes that Flash Wolves will be pushing towards you too.
Yeah, this is exactly what we were talking about at Champs. Like, we need to get Trick on the Graves, and it is working out.
Yeah, I mean, you play to comfort. He had strong gank assist in both top and bottom. His path has been intelligent, and I think that Expect also deserves a lot of credit. I mean, he was winning out on trades very heavily, had MMD already dismounted, so Trick could come up for an easy cleanup.
And that might just be communication, finally get back to the G2 lineup, because it's much more comfortable to trade aggressively if you know your jungler is going to help you in like 30 seconds in case it goes wrong, right?
It's showing. 2 kills to 0. At 5 minutes, it's a little over 1,000 gold in the lead. Now Karsa finds Sonic Wave. Tempest and Cripple comes out as well. Perks no Shockwave to fire back, but he trades well with the Thunderlords.
Yeah, and that was never really something that's looking for a kill. Karsa gets some damage out. Vladimir's farming under his turret. It's trying to help him with lane priority because Perks has no bots left.
Yeah, and also Maple to eat the brunt of that pick ban pressure. He got 2 mid laners early on, then Orianna pick, and then the 2 best matchups into Orianna were banned out in the second ban phase, so he's a dig deep for this Vladimir. Obviously, Vladimir very early on suffers from getting pushed in.
Definitely does, but at level 6 now, Perks is chunked a little bit low, has no more potions. He has to respect the all-in potential that can come out from the Vladimir.
And that makes the gank so great, you know, sometimes just a little bit of pressure can tiptoe the chips in the other way, but here's Trick in the lane again.
No summoners.
All right, gonna dash forward. Where's the dash? Shadow dash from Expect is gonna catch Sword on. Betty's the target as well. Expect to the board. Sven gets other.
This is so well done by G2, forcing out Summoner's bot. Kill the top. They can shell down because they have the experience advantage in that matchup too, and G2 just looks like they're firing on all cylinders. They've been so coordinated.
They look almost as good as the Gigabyte Marines in the early game.
Let's not be ridiculous here, Trevor.
Let's not give them too many compliments here, but they look like G2 in Europe. This is finally kind of the level of play, coordination, organization that we're used to seeing from them, just outcasting their opponents here. We're just very easy moves if you look at it. Yeah, what a surprise. You run but use the penalty, but if you time things well, you don't need the greatest mechanical outplays.
I think they even played very well within the fight. You know, Expect holding his taunt for a long time, seeing if he even needed it for the Zyra, and then use it to secure the kill. It's just looking very, very good right now for G2.
Yeah, just a fantastic start. And G2 got themselves some control wards in the books, versatile tier of items, but you know, not a huge amount of pressure on the tower. Is going to be content with those kills thus far. G2, let's see how good their mid game is going to be if they can extend this a bit.
Yeah, they have to extend it. Flashers always react with vision as well, though. You see 3 control wards right there. They place them very well in unison, and they also defend that vision and build on it. So that is something that you need to watch out for. If they go for their signature kind of slow scaling game, Flashers will not hesitate to take the map back.
They definitely won't. You also have to remember, Karsa is now level 6. Vladimir is level 6. Karsa has his summoners up and certainly can make a play to try to get a kill and return some of the pressure.
Mithy here as well. Look at him build. Could afford a side still, but why not upgrade your relic shield? You know, get a little bit more money in the bank here. They're very heavily focused on this lane phase.
And I think especially when you are actually just letting your opponent push you in like that, you don't necessarily need the wards out on the map.
As long as you can defend the controllers, that's definitely true here. It could be a breaking point if you make one mistake. Suddenly, the lack of side zone may punish G2 Esports.
I'm looking at those control wards. Prepper, there's 3 on the bottom quadrant.
It's nice.
Karsa is going to counter gank now by Trick. Counter is a strong word. Actually, it is counter gank. Trick goes in end of the line. Collateral damage gets fired. Here comes Expect. He's got Maple. Trick survives and takes Karsa with him.
Where did Expect come from? Nobody expected him suddenly. Like he just dashes in, rams a dagger through the opposition, and he just wins out that fight here. Another great roam from Expect.
Yeah, and I mean, Trick's in position as well. They read this gank like a book. They see Lee Sin at 6. They know the Perks is a summoner down, and Flash will go for it anyway, and they punish huge.
Yeah, we always talk Karsa Maple. Well, that's where the gank is going. If you look at, let's look at the top lane. That's push in. Bot lane is pushing in very heavily too. So like the only place the gank could go is the mid lane.
And Expect already moving before this gank even started.
Yeah, he even dropped a control ward in the enemy jungle. Oh, it's so well played. Purple Blade travels and just finishes him off.
I mean, as soon as Maple flashes forward and Trick is right there, you know he made an oopsie, and it's like, oh, that feels bad.
It does. And looking at Trick, this game, 1-0-5. We're before 10 minutes, 3,000 gold. They compare it to the previous stats of this group stage.
Yeah, we're SK2 right now. They're looking for the perfect tournament. G2, they're looking for the perfect game so far. Still on track, baby.
Very early start. MMD with those vicious strikes and a bear tap on a rope. He's going to be trading with Expect. Got himself the Tiamat, a small CS advantage, but Flash Wolves. Okay, G2 have done everything right for 10 minutes. You know, ganked well, they've had suitable vision. How do Flash Wolves bounce back from significant of a deficit this early on?
I think it's looking for picks. I think it's utilizing the combination of ultimates with Glenn and Lee Sin and Vladimir. Despite being a bit behind, if you get the perfect engage and eliminate someone like that Twitch right off the bat, the fight can turn around.
If you can find that perfect gauge. It feels very difficult. It's important to remember that when G2 played Flash Wolves 2 days ago, yesterday, Carolyn Dick and Trick gets traded on. Stand United, touch late, not going to be the end of the world. Get Cast's Flash though.
This Flash, and more importantly, they're working together on vision as well. The arena is igniting here as well. I'm looking at some wave mechanics. While they're waiting for the wave to arrive here in the crowd, there's something their Thunder Sticks. That's why these guys are so loud. They have optimized cheering here in Brazil.
Looks like Mithy is actually moving up mid, perhaps trying to help with that vision and really try to get some damage down on this turret because they're taking over the top side of the jungle.
Yeah, and with that mid pressure, actually, Mithy could just take somebody with him, taxi to the bottom lane. Perks and Mithy could arrive behind enemy 80 area and get bot turret from them. That is the strength of a Tom Kench level 6. You really want to use that Abyssal Forge to unlock objectives.
They do need to be careful though. Betty is coming up. Jhin ultimate is available, but it's going to bail from the play.
All right, couple ultimates used to put pressure on this mid lane tower. Perks with shockwave collateral damage while taking a look.
I hear a Abyssal Voyage. I think they're going bot.
All right, MMD's going to jump back onto Sol and run away. There's the Abyssal. Down tower, first blood, still available. That would increase the gold to 5,000. However, Flash Wolves hold.
It's one of those satisfying sound effects. You know, as a bot laner, when you're support gunning, you hear that on the map, like, oh, they're coming for me. Backup's coming, and now Flash Wolves react. Bots, mid gets pushed in. Like, just push and pull. Never have to fight them. Use all these for pressure. If you have this gold lead, it's much easier to just get the turrets.
I'd also say the solo gold going over to Orianna is so good because this Orianna-Vladimir matchup really depends on who is outpacing the other. If you can stay ahead, the Vladimir never has a chance to kind of sustain you down, and if Vladimir ahead, Orianna can become helpless.
Orianna is not going to be helpless this game. 101 plus 20 TS. We got a tower to her name. Another one in the bottom lane. We'll quickly in. Looking at the top. Every time we come top, by the way, Expect seems to be out-trading MMD's Cleared. Thus far, he's got that Balmy Cinder Ninja Tab and even though there's no damage on the tower, he's keeping MMD at bay.
Yeah, Gled is fantastic into a squishy matchup because he can really burst with Bear Trap on a rope. It's really high damage on impact. The problem is, I'm gonna burst through a Shen, especially if he gets an early gank. These like tank versus carry matchups. If the tank gets a good gank off and gets slightly ahead, Ninja Tabi, tank animation is just sufficient.
And this is also not a world in which this is a Kennen or Fiora or something where it's like, oh, he just gets his item, then he starts to win. It doesn't really work like that in this matchup. As long as the Shen can stay relevant, the Kled is not going to be able to just take over that lane.
Yeah, well, luckily for Expect, his entire team is relevant. Look down the kill score, 2-1-0-1. Everyone's got involved. It's a gigantic lead before 15 minutes. Take a look up top as MMD once again to the back up on a rope. A little bit of some Trick in the river.
Cars is coming up
soon. Actually, Trick has decided to back away. Expect to be under pressure, Cost enough to find an opportunity.
Yeah, expects to yield. Looking at Perks, he used that solo gold Zale was talking about earlier to really invest in cheek penetration. If you get that early lead, just sitting lost is enough. You don't need to go full Ronomicon. Perks now has really strong all-in potential. This is a very strong early spot for Orianna.
Especially because of Vladimir is not itemizing defensive, he's trying to rush towards that Proto Belt instead of sitting on something like a Negatron, which can really help to negate that advantage that Perks has.
And Maple's smart enough to know this, so he's never going to combat Perks. But what that means is Perks will push up the wave, disappear, and start influencing these side lanes. One thing that can go wrong is right here if Expect that.
All right, Expect's going to get pulled back by the bear trap. Squall is triggered. Caster's got the Dragon's Rage, and actually Expect Vector's put a lot of damage to Mithy's brought Perks. That's one already with the attack in the distance. Shockwave not even going to get needed. There's the hula hoop sombrero. Perks doesn't need it. Still gets a double kill with the attack.
I mean, that was looking a little bit desperate from Flashful. That is a very healthy Shen who is ahead. You cannot burst this guy down with that.
By the way, that control ward that Expect put earlier, still inside the red corner of the jungle, that Betty and Maple just walked past.
I love it when you talk dirty to me, Trevor. Right there. Very healthy Shen indeed. Eats his vegetables. That was just grasping at straws. Every move by Flashful is being read, and at this point, this is the part of the game where G2 has excelled in Europe. They know how to cleanly play out these games. The problem is they were always so far behind in the early game at this tournament they couldn't really show their closing ability.
I mean, this is just, MMD is almost ready to dismount. He's not ever going to have the amount of damage, and you can see Mithy is already moving up here with Perks. Even if they did come, this kill wouldn't work.
It's just the range at which this is possible to show the strength of the Tom Ken in this tournament, why he likely become more of a meta pick within this tournament. With Perks was at the tier 2 turret. CG on a Vladimir, he takes 5 steps backwards, gets in belly, arrives top, and helps.
A cheeky little grin there from Expect. 204 on his Shen. As it stands, 8 kills to 0, 8,000 gold up. Wait for stats to verify, but I'm pretty confident that the largest gold lead at 15 minutes across the group stage, and it's the opening game of the second round robin.
And there's so much easy gold for them to pick up still. I mean, this bot tier 2 tower is one auto away. They have full pressure in mid lane. Top has already fallen. We just need to see how well G2 can close this out, because this should be their game from here.
Yeah, there's also 4 jungle camps and a dragon, and that's something that's very often overlooked when playing so deep in the enemy map. Trying to rotate for these tier 2 turrets. A lot of teams forget that there's camps in their own jungle. They take away the opposition jungle, but this is actually mark of G2 domestically. They will take both sides of the jungle. That's why Trick doesn't have highest activity, but he's very efficient in his camping, and that it's so catered towards his Graves pick and roll. No champion really clears much faster than him.
Yeah, it really suits the play style, and once Trick has enough power, uses that Graves to impact mid to late game. Team fights where he also has exceptional ability.
Yeah, especially on a champion like this where you can make a lot of use of the farm. Graves is not someone like the Lee Sin who's going to fall off as much. You're always a big contributor, especially against a relatively low-range team. With the Vladimir and the Lee Sin and the Kled, there's always someone to hit.
Yeah, and especially if they consider that Trugit got some nerfs, so if you play Graves into a full AP comp, the lack of MR you get from Trugit maybe hurt you, but there is only Maple that is bringing that sword art, maybe, but he's just not going to interact too much with himself, so Trugit's still very valuable if he comes into a duel against MMD, against Parsa, even against Betty.
I want to step back from this game just a little bit because it really has been the G2 show, right? We talked about the results.
Let's stay here.
We talked about the results, 2 wins, 3 losses, and how every team now will play again, 5 more games. The expected result you're going to lose to SKT, and every win you can pick up against Flashful, WE, Gigabyte Marines puts you one step closer to playoffs, that pool 1 seed for World, which is the first reward at MSI.
It really does, and people have talked a lot about the pressure on G2, but what about the pressure mounting on Flash Wolves now? They were supposed to be the ones to challenge SKT. They're 2-3. They're now facing a 2-4 opening record. And they have not looked at all like the team we were expecting coming into this tournament.
Yeah, they also came out and said it was Stake who said it doesn't matter how good you dominate domestically, you may fall apart internationally because you can only smash them so hard if they're not giving you enough opposition. That's the problem in G2 Esports as well. They dominate Europe overall. Even when the fans are against them, like in Hamburg, and then they get to the international tournament, these guys practice super hard. Like they really hate losing. It's like they came out unpaired, and then like dropping those early games was a mental hit for them. I'm really glad to see them bounce back.
I really do think that pro gaming, one of the things that you'll learn is you're only as good as your competition. It's so much harder to really move tier above, and these teams are trying to do that and seeing difference between SKT, who has those great practice partners, and some of the other regions who don't have as many.
But at the same time, though, we can't take things away from like the truly the greatest like Faker. He will prove no matter what the competition, or SKT, they constantly innovate the meta game. When they flexed the dual Karma in finals versus KT, they just made them look like, honestly, like they were smurfing.
Yeah.
At certain points in the game, even when KT got a lead, KT still came back. So that is the greatness you see there. But overall, it is definitely true. Like if you have bad scrims and you get some gameplay patterns that you get away with, the same way with Svenker. Like those invades, they probably pay off a lot in scrims. The problem is on stage, you get against better players, you get punished.
Yeah, better players, higher pressure scenario. You talk about sort of play styles and histories. Look at these 20 stats for G2 and Flash Wolves. Obviously with the records they have. Not the greatest. First blood 20%. First tower, Flash was pretty good at picking that one up. Both teams average a deficit as we get close to the 20-minute mark.
Yeah, Flash Wolves, they definitely are not getting the first tower even right now. 19 minutes of the game, 0 turns to 3, which is a very rare occurrence. It doesn't seem like they can fight their way out of this gridlock.
Hey, perfect game still on the cards here for D2 Esports. Also, the previous gold lead record, MSI 2017, was around 7,000 gold at 20. It looks like G2's going to break that record as well. So this will potentially be the heaviest-handed defeat of MSI 2017. Perks and Spec gonna try to take this inner turret down in the top lane. MMD has already popped off Snarl.
It's Shockwave first.
Second time this game. Trick in a 1v3 almost takes down Betty. Sonic Wave connects, but Kosa does not follow the Lee Syndrome. Support from Perks swing round, and Stand United still not triggered.
And in a similar fashion where you do attack the global if you're playing versus Shen, you need to attack the engage if you're playing versus a Skarl, because otherwise there's nothing Flash Wolves can do. They can't flying engage with Zyra because she's a disengaged champion.
And I mean, one of the beautiful things about this game is anytime you see a fight happening somewhere, G2 is already getting something on the other side of the map. When you're this far ahead, it is not a 1v1 matchup. You need 4 players for every G2 person on the map. That means as long as G2 is pushing constantly and moving around the map well, they can always take advantages elsewhere.
They can always go for the cross map. The only thing they need to do is then respect that when Flash will show up with 2 or 3 extra members, that they yield the pressure right there, not give away needless advantages. This is why Kars is going really large path around the bottom side. Flash was trying to get something.
Oh, look at Trick. He's already got in. Hemoplate comes down. Stranglethorns is coming up. Stand United has bought up time, and now Perks is arrived. Come on, protect. Keeps Trick alive.
Oh, the perfect game is gone.
The perfect game is ruined. Carsa sends his god fist into Trick's face. Now Carsa's running away with his life. Expect. Oh, misses the taunt because Carsa sidesteps. Still beautiful to behold on that champion.
Flash rolls, they get a kill on the board, but pressure top lane. It's already been pushed all the way, and Sven is rotating around here. You can see him waiting the side on a bush to see if anyone is going to try to defend this a little bit too boldly.
Yeah, already sitting on 2 items here. He can unleash and kill right there. He just pressed R. It wasn't enough. Perks is now being shadowed by Mithy, so he'll be able to survive. G2 Esports looking for their 5th consecutive turret this game.
And pressure on the bot side constantly. That turret is so low. They're just pushing around. They're controlling a vision in the jungle, farming both sides of the map, and that is why the gold lead is just exploding.
Yeah, and of course, with this stage in the game, now G2 needs to overstep. Right?
Yeah.
10,000 gold lead, 20 minutes in. There's actually not a lot of objectives, you know, to push for just yet. We'll expand that in a minute. Here's a replay of Trick giving up the perfect game.
This is Kars do the right thing with his team, heavily committing to one side of the map and hoping that you get enough. Yeah, these members will so damn tanky. They will have some damage. So Flash Wolves, they're in front of an impossible task. Barring a Baron steal, there is no way to come back.
I mean, even a Baron steal at this point, I think, just moves you closer to having some hope. It's not turning the game around. G2, you know, a lot of times you can criticize teams for playing very slowly when they are this far ahead, but they are always bleeding their opponents out of the situation. So I think, you know, up to this point, I have no real criticism for them.
Oh, it's also why in Europe, when they play, you kind of blink your eyes twice and suddenly G2 have 3,000 gold lead. But no real pivotal moment has happened. There hasn't been any triple kills or massive outplay. They just play really efficient League of Legends where they go for all the camps, they push the right waves, they maximize side lane farm. They're the team that picks up the most farm from 50 to 30 in raw numbers in European LCS, because they just maximize these sidelines.
Yeah, they've been maximizing every lane for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Every gank, every play resulted in advantage. MMD actually used charge for some reason. I didn't quite see exactly why, whether it was under pressure from Expect or not, but that charge has not been used offensively a single time in the 23 minutes, and that was a, first phase pick. Flash Wolves eventually lose their 5th tower.
And you can see now that G2 and Flash Wolves are really trying to prioritize vision around the Baron. That is really the next big objective for G2, is closing out on the Dragons are down, the outer turrets are out, and they really do need to try to get control of this area.
Yeah, and if we turn our attention to Flash Wolves, I think they just really exposed a major flaw in their team. MMD got drafted a blind Rumble yesterday, I believe. Now he gets drafted a blind, a blind Kled here. It feels like he has a very narrow champion pool that they're trying to just give him a comfort pick rather than a meta pick that he'll play poorly. Just getting punished harder every single game.
Now Maple's looking like he's going to get punished. Sanguine pool by some time. threw down the hero plague as well. Looking at the mini-map, still Expect continues to shove MMD back. Expect's got that Titanic Hydra and Sunfire Cape, winning every single trade. And it's the mid lane's going down as well.
It's also an item build that's heavily focused on push. You can shove those lanes so fast as Expect here, and he has to stand united to join, so G2 are straight onto the Baron.
What a statement here from G2. 2 wins, 3 losses. This will be the 3rd win of the tournament. Shot is just blown up where he stands. Perks and Expect trying to run down Carter. Expect's going to be able to solo him. Spirit's Refuge by some time. Baron secured actually by Mippy. Trick did get the smite down once again. It's a retreat, not a charge. MMD's running for his life. With the death, that's what G2 are looking for. Solo's going to avoid the show dash as Maple is being burned alive in his Sanguine pool. Dominating. Sven gets another onto MD. And Betty watches his team fall around him.
Flash Wolves are just getting decimated here. This has got to be one of the cleanest, if not the cleanest team of the tournament here for G2. And what a way to start the 2nd round of games.
Yeah, in a phenomenal fashion, G2 Esports bounce back. They tie their score back to 3-3, and their hopes of reclaiming that #1 seed for Europe are still alive.
Largest gold lead at 15 minutes. Largest gold lead at 20 minutes. Every single objective, and only one criticism.
Trick is hitting again.
Gave up the perfect game.
We'll let it slide this time, but just watch the Baron. This is really the only way that Flash Wolves could do anything about this is a seal. So you have Perks already zoning on the outside, ulting the Shen, take away the only chance that Flash Wolves has to make a positive play.
Now, man, you got to step back and look at G2. After that 50-minute loss to TSM, where technically they had lost the game for around 46 minutes of those 50, not managing to take down the nexus of those last few hits. The psychological hit. G2 and X, is it coming back? Is it a possibility?
Yeah.
This kind of game.
G3 and 7, baby.
Going up every year, G4 and next year, tying it up 2 years or so. I think what's great is the fact that they, well, seemingly they're playing a much weaker version of their play on the international tournament still for the majority of the game. They're not getting affected game to game, so it seems like they're going into every single game fresh again, but something broke down for sure. G2 Esports was a shim, a shadow of their former selves in the first 5 games here. 6-1 is the one money.
There we go. You talk about shadow of their former selves. Flash Wolves have an on switch and an off switch. They go 0-2 day 1, 2-0 day 2. They're on the verge of going 0-2 day 3. And this was a finalist team coming in, the expectation. So, you know, we talk about the benefits of G2 bouncing back. How on earth do Flash Wolves again bounce back from another 0-2 day?
But G2 also attacked the core, right? Like we talked about Carson, Maple, Sora. Now the final engage comes in, but it's kind of tricky.
It's indeed. MMD gets a bed up on a rope, but look at Sven. He's already on killing spree. Taking down Carson. Flash Wolves are retreating. The charge had no damage behind it. Expect kills the weeds of Sword Art. And now Maple cuts off from the rest of his team, gets devoured by Mippy and spits out to Expect.
Yeah, Carson was still jungling, while Sora was attacked in the bot lane. Maple was attacking picks and bans, and by the time Carson tried to fight back, it was simply too late. And with only a single kill, G2 Esports are going to begin.
G2 Esports with the most dominating victory of the MSI 2017 group stage. Take down Flash Wolves to go 3-3.
Just such a good game from them. And I mean, this has got to give you so much confidence going forward. We talked about how tough of a schedule these teams have for 2 and 3 to make it into the final games, and they're off to a great start.
Look at the expressions on the faces of Flash Wolves and G2. G2 earlier today, distraught at the TSM loss. This time, ecstatic at the Flash Wolves victory.
Yeah, and I'm just happy for the guy to get the basket in the fandom. I mean, look at Perks. He had to go through so many like negativity and comments when he tried to take the bad boy image.